friends, this is Rachel, and today I'm going to give you a super quick tour of the new Kaggle kernel editor. We're not going to go into all the bells and whistles. I'm just going to give you enough information to get started writing code and feel comfortable using the environment. So to start off, I'm going to create a kernel, and I'm going to do that in this case by going to a data set. I'm just going to use this Yelp data set that's popular right now. And I'm going to create a new kernel. So a kernel is just a hosted coding environment, so I can write code and then run it, and it's all going to be in my browser on Kaggle servers. So none of this is run locally on my computer, it's all on the internet, in the cloud. And I'm going to write a notebook because I tend to prefer to work in notebooks. So the first thing that you can do when you start a new notebook is you can actually pick the language that it's going to be in. So I like to work in R, so I'm going to change the notebook language to R rather than Python using this drop down up here. You can also see that the data set that I wrote my notebook on is all here represented, and here are the different files that I can use in my data set, that I can use in this notebook. So just a little bit of terminology for you. This is a cell, and in this case it's a code cell, and I'm just going to delete all of this, and I'm going to write some code that I want to run in it. And then I'm going to run this cell by hitting Control Enter, and the code in this code cell is executed. And you can see that it shows up here, so I have the output underneath my code cell, and it also shows up down here in the console. So everything that's run in the notebook will be run in the console, but not vice versa. So if I want to, this is just a console running R code, so it should give me 2 back because it is R, and it does, like I expected. But this isn't run up here, so the console is for you to play around and check things in. If you want additional cells, you can use the plus and down arrow to put one below your current cell, and a plus and up arrow to put one above your current cell. And you can also change it to markdown. So markdown is just a way of adding plain text into your file. So I can say, this is some text. And I can get a little bit fancy. I can bold text, or I can have links. So let me finish off that asterisk. So I can add a link to Google. And then I put the address, right there. And then when I click out of this cell, we can see what it's going to look like. When I click out of the cell, we can see what it's going to look like once the notebook is rendered. So let's talk about how to read data into your notebook. So all of these CSV files here, and also this top one here, are available to me. But if I want to work with them in my notebook, I need to add them to my local environment. So I'm going to use this tip cell, this tip CSV, and you can see that it is 141 megabytes big. And you can also see that this is the path for me to get to this specific text. So I'm going to copy it. I'm going to create an object, and I'm going to read a CSV. And then I'm going to, when I use read CSV, and this will be pd.readcsv if you're using pandas, I just put in the path. And then when I run this cell, this tips data frame that contains information from the CSV is added to my local environment. Oh, okay. Sorry, my computer made a noise. I can also save out data if I want to. So I can, let's say that we've been doing a lot of work with this tips data set and I want to save it out for later. I can also write it to file. So the command for that in R is write.csv, and I can give it the name of the object that I would like to write out, and then I can say what I want the name of the file to be. So I'm just going to call it output file.csv. Now I'm going to, so you'll notice that this, everything that I've been working on has been saved. So right now this is saved. I can leave, I can come back, it should be fine. And you can see that there's a draft save status up here. I can also make a snapshot. So I can do that by hitting this new snapshot button over here. But first I need to give it a title. So I'm going to call it My Sample Notebook. And once I click out of there, you can see that the snapshot button is now blue. And what this will do is it will save a record of what my data set looked like, what my analysis, my whole notebook looked like at a specific point in time. And once I have a snapshot, when people go and look at my the address for my data set online, they will see the most recent snapshot. So I'm going to go ahead and make a snapshot now. And you can see it gives you information, so how long it's been running for. If you have a very large notebook that has a lot of computation that goes into it, it may take a little bit longer to run. And you can also see a log, so if there's an error, like if you try to import a library that we don't have access to, it will show up in the log once you've hit that point in the notebook compilation process. Then once our snapshot is done, you can see that there's a drop-down menu here. So this is our first snapshot. It's snapshot 1. As we add additional snapshots, we'll be able to go back and look at them. We can see what the compiled notebook looks like. So if someone went to look at this, this is what they'd see. Once it's public, I'll talk about that in a second. You can also see the data that you used for this specific version of your snapshot, that your snapshot was made on, and you can also see the output file that we saved earlier. And I could download this, or I could add, so if I add a data source, I can add a kernel to the data source, and that will allow me to use the output of another kernel as the input of this one. But I'm not going to do that. Whoop. But you can if you would like to. So the only thing that's left to do if I want to share my analysis with other people is to change the visibility to public rather than private. And when you do that, you do need to accept the license. So Apache 2.0 is an open source license. And you can hit OK, make public, and it will make it public, and you will be able to share your analysis with anybody else. All right, so that's all I have for this quick tour. There's a bunch of other features and bells and whistles that I'm not going to get into. I just wanted you guys to be able to start out on the right foot. And feel free to let me know if you have any questions. I hope you guys really like this. I know the engineering team worked really hard on it, and we all had a lot of input for them. So, but we also really like to make it better. So if there's anything you think should be changed or added, just let us know and we'll consider it. All right, thanks so much. I hope you guys enjoy using the new kernels.